to my party. We're just
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to a unscheduled Arsenal news. It won't be as long as it normally is. There'll still be one on Friday. This is just a little bit of a gap filler due to the fact there was some breaking news today, which none of us were able to do at the time. So obviously we'll talk about that very shortly. Just want to quickly get into the comments. Big up to King. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to an Arsenal fan during silly season for once. Yes, it definitely is. Declan Rice is joining Arsenal. Yes, Tamina, definitely now. Timber is definitely joining Arsenal now. Tchouaméni, look, we'll wait and see on Tchouaméni, and Lavia will get into that today. So big up to Tamina. As I said, this is going to be a quick stream, but there is a little bit to talk about. Obviously, today's breaking news was Arsenal have agreed a deal to sign Timber. I do believe he'll be I think he'll be an Arsenal player by at least next midweek. I'm pretty sure he will be. The deal is for 34.2 million with 4.2 in add-ons. Kin talking about Tchouaméni, I think it's 0.1 chance that Tchouaméni joins us from Real. That's me being nice. The rumours are real. There's a real possibility, and it is mainly down to the Tchouaméni team. So it's not necessarily Real Madrid, but it is Tchouaméni that is pushing for this, and that is the bit that's you've got to keep an eye on, is the Tchouaméni team. If they are not happy, and I've said this morning, if the Tchouaméni team are not happy with the Real Madrid situation when they have a chat with them, then they will look elsewhere, even if it's just for a loan. It could just be for a loan. It may not necessarily be a permanent signing, but he could be available, and Arsenal will definitely throw their hat in. As I said, don't just think that Declan Rice is our only big midfielder coming in this season, because he's not. We are being linked heavily with multiple midfielders. Tchouaméni is one of them. Frankie de Jong is another one. And we're going to get into the most likely other midfielder signing. Big up to Tony. Hope you're doing well. Hope work's not too bad for you, mate. Right, let's move on to the next bit of news. Reiss Nelson did sign his new contract today. So we're just waiting for the announcement, but he has signed it today. It's on the dotted line. AC Milan and Newcastle were the two teams that were trying to scupper the deal. But he has signed a basic wage of 60,000 at Arsenal. It can possibly go higher, as we all know, it's around about 90 to 100,000 pounds. It possibly can do if he reaches certain targets and all that kind of stuff. But his basic wage is 60,000 pounds, which is absolutely fine with me. I have zero issue with that. He is, for me, going to be the number 3 choice winger, left, right, coming off the bench. You know, to bit of an impact sub. I think also we'll talk about Smith Rowe in a bit, because obviously England just played. But yeah, I think Reiss Nelson is just a 3rd choice winger, which I have zero issues with at all. Evening to Luke, and he is happy that Reiss is staying. Look, I think he deserves one more season with us. That's my opinion. I think he deserves at least one more season, and we'll see how we go from there. But yeah, I'm happy. I wouldn't have been that bothered if he left either, to be honest. But he's staying, so I'm chill with it, if I'm honest. Let's move on to Ethan Nwaneri. Has signed his new deal with Arsenal, and there's going to be a lot that we're going to go through in a minute. So guys, get your pens and paper. Write some names down in a minute. So yeah, Nwaneri obviously offered contracts by Chelsea and Man City, chose to stay at Arsenal. Brilliant job by Per and Jack for persuading him to stay. They used some interesting tactics to make sure he stayed. Nothing that was wrong. It's just the fact that it just made him realise what you've got at Arsenal is going to be different and more special than what you could get at City and Chelsea. And that was very important for Ethan. So, look, I'm very happy that Ethan is staying along with all the other scholars. Right, so we're going to go through them all. Right, so get your pens, get your paper, and write these names down. So you first got is Bless Akolbaya. He is signed from where I was born, Colchester. He's a central midfielder. So he is the first one. Then you've got Jackai Basco Fisher. He is a talented offensive player, so I'm guessing he's a right and left winger. Dan Casey is the next one. He came through our academy. He can play attacking midfield, centre forward, or wide attacker. Then you've got Reese Claremont. He is a wide attacker. We do like wide attackers at the Arsenal, don't we? Lou Copley. He is an energetic attacking midfielder who joined us from West Ham. And then we've got Aidan Heaven. I love that name. Aidan joined us from West Ham as well, and he is a defensive midfielder, can play comfortably in defence and midfield as well. And then you've got Cameron Ismail. He is a left back, so he's someone to keep an eye out for. Oh, crikey, here we go. Max Kuzinetsky. He is a left-sided defender. I swear that Arsenal just like wingers and left backs for coming through the academy. Then you got Miles Lewis Kelly. He has signed. Obviously, we all know about him. Very good and comfortable in midfield. Then you've got Ethan Nwaneri. Then you've got Daniel Owatunde. He is an attacking player. Doesn't say what. Oh, he can play. He can play as a number 9 or a wide attacker. Then you've got Zach Shuaib. I hope I said that as well as I possibly can. He is a midfield player who can operate below or ahead of the ball. So basically, he's a box to box. Then you've got Will Sweet. He is a fullback. He is a fullback, and I'm guessing he's actually James's brother, actually, because we've got a James Sweet who's also Welsh. So I'm guessing that, yeah. So they are all the names to keep an eye out for. So I hope you do write them down, because they are the names that will, got the scholars. We'll see what they do. I will definitely keep an eye on them, and I'll update on any interesting news about them. Do you think it would make a double announcement regarding Rice and Timber, or 2 separate ones? I think it'll be separate ones, if I'm honest. I think Timber will be quicker than Rice, because I know we're making a massive deal out of the Rice signing, and rightly so. It's a massive signing. It's basically 105 million. So yeah, I think it'd be separate ones. Big up to Luke Chapman. He is my Northampton Town fan. Kieran Barry on returning to North. Yes, I actually did a show on FTSN about Kieran Barry going to Northampton, funny enough. So yeah, big up to you, Luke. Hope you're doing well. Right, let's move on to the next story. Possible talk that Santi Cazorla could return to the Arsenal as a coach. Now, there are 2 offers at the moment for Santi Cazorla, one being from Villarreal. I think that is more of a playing coaching role, and with Arsenal it is obviously just a coaching role. Now, he would be very excited to come back to the Arsenal. He's been quoted as saying it many times when he's been interviewed. So this one is a possible. I think he might be tempted to go to Villarreal for a bit, might come to the Arsenal later. Obviously, Villarreal is obviously a big team for him as well. But we've got to wait and see. But it's definitely one to keep an eye out for the next few weeks of what happens with Santi indeed. Right, now let's get on to a little bit of possibles. After Declan Rice, Timber, obviously Havertz is done. There could still be 2 to 4 more incomings. They are possible. It's possible. Minimum 2. But up to 4. That's not necessarily including like any youngsters like we talked about last night with the Trevon dude. This is like proper squad players. So yeah, 2 to 4 possible incomings at Arsenal. I did some maths earlier. Arsenal can actually raise just over 200 million in sales, which would then be spent within the club. So there's still more scope to spending as much as what Arteta needs if he feels we need more. So it's very exciting. I've put too many there because it is a possible. But like I said, there's Frank de Jong, there's Frimpong, there's just so many names being thrown out there right now. It's clearly that Arsenal are still looking. We all know this. We want a defender, we want a midfielder, and we want a forward. that could end up being 2 midfielders. So that's 4 players just there. As I said, it's why it could be 2 to 4 more possible incomings this summer. We've got to wait and see. It's possible. You never know. Let's move on to talk about Xavi Simons. PSG have activated his clause now. However, this does not necessarily mean that Xavi Simons goes straight to PSG. It's really, really not like that. Xavi Simons has a lot of power within this. He's now got 25 days to decide what he wants to do. Now, what I think will happen is I don't think he's keen on PSG. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe that might change with the new coach. It could do. Again, it's another story we need to keep an eye on for the next few days. But I would like him. He's absolutely fantastic talent. And when I say talent, I don't want to say like he's not ready yet, because he would definitely come into that team and be amazing. But he's so young as well. He's got so much to develop and get better in, and yeah, he would excite me. King asking here, is Evan Ferguson a possibility with Balogun going the other way? Not for me. I don't think Evan Ferguson will go anywhere this summer, if I'm honest. But Balogun could go anywhere. I'm not going to talk about him today because there's not enough concise rumours of where he could end up. Tavares, there's probably more rumours about him where he could be going, like, and how much, like 20 million is what we want for Tavares, which I think is a brilliant amount of money, if I'm honest. If we manage to get 20, I'll be laughing all the way to the bank. So yeah, Balogun's possible, could be an exit. I think he will be going. I think it will be a 40 million with about 10 million add-ons, if I'm honest, though, with Balogun. So it's not going to be the 50 like all in one. I think it will be 40 with add-ons, maybe 35 with add-ons as well. Because he's so young and hasn't had that much experience. I think with that type of player, you would just put add-ons on him. And very similar to a player that we'll be talking about in a moment. So yeah, so that's Xavi Simons. So he's got 25 days to decide. He can decide earlier as well, but PSG have activated the clause in his contract now. So I think it's 5.1 million euros they could sign him for. If we get 20, yeah, I know, I'd be amazed, but that is what we're asking for. The official term is 25 million euros, but it's basically 20 million in pounds. So let's wait and see. West Ham are interested, and I think there's a couple of others that are around and about. Who is in for no? As I said, sorry, King, I didn't realise you could ask that question. So it's West Ham, I believe, Galatasaray, and I have heard a Portuguese team are interested in him. I'm not 100% sure about the Portuguese team, but definitely West Ham are interested, and Galatasaray are interested as well. So we're going to wait and see. Hopefully, I might have some more news by Friday when I do the proper news channel show. But for now, that's for definite. Let's move on to Arsenal are ready to launch a bid for Lavia after signing Rice. Now, this is gathering a lot of pace. Liverpool are obviously favourites to get him, but due to the fact they are ready to go and get him now. However, like I said yesterday, Lavia really only wants Arsenal. I think he would go to Liverpool if needed, and he would go to Chelsea if needed. But he really does want to come to Arsenal. So, look, if Arsenal are not happy to pay the 50 million, I know this for 100%. I think if we offered him 35 with a 10 million in add-ons, I think that would be good enough for him, if I'm honest. I like Lavia. Tony loves Lavia. But this one is the one to keep an eye out for as soon as we sign Rice, as soon as we sign Timber. We will then gather some pace on the selling, and then we'll start moving on with some incomings again. Thomas Partey talk will be having this week, I believe, with Arsenal. So his future will be decided, I'm pretty sure, either this week or next week, to see what happens with Thomas Partey. But look, I've always said that I'm quite happy for him to leave, and I'm going to stick by that. And if you know, you know. But yeah, I'm perfectly happy for him to go. Got to set the bar high. So yeah, why not? I'll start asking for 20 million. Exactly. If we got 15 with like 5 million add-ons, I'd still be delighted with that because it's still a profit, and it's not very heard of at Arsenal to make a profit on a player. So yeah, I'd take 15 plus 5 if I'm honest. I would love Lavia. He's such a bullet. Look, we all do. We spoke about it this morning. Me, Luke, and Tony. Great chat this morning. So please go and check it out. Talking about the Declan Rice deal. So yeah, I would love him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But he would not be the other big signing. King saying, "I'm with you. It's time to move on to TP5." It is 100% time to move on. There's a lot of information about TP, which suggests that Arsenal just move on. And yeah, I think we really should. Bigs up Luke, Tony, and King, and congrats England the final game. Yeah, we're going to talk about that at the end, mate. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Big up to you, Moss. And I think this. Oh no, not the final one. This is the next one. So Musah, who obviously was one of our academy, left 5-6 years ago now. Was it something like that? Is wanting to make an Arsenal return, so they're saying. Now, let's have a think about this. Now, the reason that they're saying this is because he's been pictured wearing an Arsenal shirt whilst doing training, doing his own personal training. And he was quoted as saying he would love to come back to Arsenal. He loves the coaching team, loves the club, loves the fans, all that kind of stuff. Do I see it happening? No, if I'm honest, I don't. I think he's destined for other places. I don't think Arsenal is the place for him. But it's out there. He's made it very clear that he would like to come back to Arsenal, but Arsenal, as far as I'm aware, are not interested in him at all. Could that change? Yes, of course it could. Anything can happen in this window. It's very fluid. Like if Lavia just totally subsides, there'll be other players that we look at. So that's the beauty of the transfer window. I've always said, and I said it many weeks ago, that there was never a plan B for Declan Rice. There was always plan Bs for all our other targets. So look, we're getting Declan Rice. He'll be in guaranteed by mid next week. So if we don't get Lavia, or if we move on from Lavia, let's say, because the price isn't good, then there would be someone else that we are looking at. So I'm not too concerned. And Musah could possibly be one of those names that come up. But for me right now, no. Not going to happen. Let's move on to, I believe, the final slide. Yes, it is. Wenger statue to be unveiled on the 3rd of August, which is the day after. It's the day after we play Monaco in the Emirates Cup, which is, I suppose, poetic, to be honest. Obviously, being from Monaco and being an Arsenal manager. And it is what it is. I hope we get statues of all the great managers that we've had at Arsenal. That's all I'm going to say on the situation. Because as I said this morning, I'm not that keen. But there we go. Will we still try to on Caicedo? I do believe he's about 95% done at Chelsea, if I'm honest. But I wouldn't rule us out 100% yet. So yeah, let's just wait a few days and see what happens with Chelsea and Caicedo, because for something that should have been happening, it seems to have gone very quiet. So yeah, I don't know exactly what's happening there, but it does seem to have gone very quiet. Been saying for 2 years, should never let Mullen and Musah go when club was in transition. Guna and plays so well. Unfortunately, Bombos, it just happens. Like we were very close to losing Nwaneri. We will lose Balogun. Balogun's going to be a huge loss. I guarantee in a few years' time we'll all regret it. But at the moment, it doesn't fit the system. So you've got to allow him to just spread his wings and excel elsewhere. So yeah, let's see what happens with Musah. But so start Arsenal rumours. I don't say from Musah. Maybe, but I don't believe. There's no links with us wanting him. It's more he was wearing an Arsenal shirt. There was a quote talking about him saying that he would love to come back to Arsenal. So yeah, Musah a lot like Calavia, slightly more proven, but love both to be honest. And Liverpool off Kefri. Yes, the Thuram deal is not happening. I don't know what's happened. If I'm honest, I don't know what happened with the Thuram deal. As far as I was concerned, that was pretty much done. But for some reason, it's just gone 0% chance of happening now. So I don't know what's happened. I don't know if Thuram will go somewhere else. I'm assuming so because he's talented. And Balogun was at Colney, I believe. Yeah, he is back in the UK, as far as I'm aware. He's back in the UK. But I know he's had a chat with the Arsenal people that need to have a chat with him. Who do we want as a centre forward option? What we wanted in the profile is tall, strong, good on the ball, has the ability to work back, very much like Jesus, but just taller, stronger. So like say Osimhen, say Vlahovic, that type of striker. That's what we want. Now, do I think it will happen? Possible. That one I would say is probably more 50-50 than it is like guaranteed we're going to sign a striker because it depends what happens with Balogun for definite. Do we move Eddie on? If we sell those two players, that's guaranteed 65 million. 65 million guaranteed for those two. Add an extra 5 to that, you've got Vlahovic. There's so much to do. We've got like less than 2 months to go this window. There's so much that can happen. And I do think there will be so much to talk about over the next few weeks. Obviously, Arsenal playing Nuremberg next week on Thursday. So yeah, there's so much to go. So yeah, I will keep you updated every Tuesday and Friday every week until the season starts. Then I will obviously have to change that around a little bit. Maybe wait on betting. No. Balogun deserves to leave now. If Balogun wants to go, let him leave now. You have to be fair to him. He's not going to sign a new deal. If we waited until January, his price will actually go down because it will depreciate because he'll have less of a contract. This is how the market values are worked out, is how long the contract is. This is the best time to sell him now. If we wait another 6 months, the value will go down, and we can't afford to do that. I personally think we should sell Eddie as well and then bring a proper centre forward in. That's just my opinion. Whether or not Arsenal decide to do that, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But there's going to be so much to be talking about over the next few weeks. We've got the big free in, let's say. Now it's a case of selling and looking around, just a little bit of window shopping as well, and seeing who else we can buy right now. But yeah, be interesting. I knew exactly who he meant, King as well. I knew exactly who he meant. We'll see what Arteta does after talks works out Ballo. Look, as far as I'm concerned, Ballo wants to be guaranteed first team, and he's not going to get it under Arteta. And even if he did, he wouldn't be playing to the best of his abilities because the system that we play does not suit Balogun. So it makes perfect sense. Look, Arsenal are asking for 50 million. I think that will be haggled, and like I said, it will be add-ons involved, and I think that will be the perfect way to get the money that we want, and let Balogun just fly and enjoy his career. I really do. And Siri, taller and maybe cheap with. Well, no, not for me. He's never impressed me enough, and I don't think that's what Arteta would want either. So look, we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. There's so much going on rumours going around right now, mainly midfielders, as you kind of expect. There has been defender links, but there is not so many forward links at the moment. But like Luke said here, like I said this morning, I'd go getting Vlahovic now. Liverpool have made the mistake of thinking they could just wait for the players they want. Osimhen isn't guaranteed to join us next summer. He's not. There's so many open questions with Osimhen, whether or not he does leave. I think for me, I don't think he's buyable this summer at all. What he decides to do next summer, yes, I think he might move. But the thing is, with next summer, there's going to be way more clubs wanting Osimhen than what there is now. Real Madrid could be considering him. Their replacement from Benzema was Joselu. So Oslu's like 33, I believe. And I think that was a gap filler, if I'm honest. I think Osimhen could be Real Madrid's target next summer, if I'm honest. Moroccan frontman got them to semi and Seville, so not bad and cheap. Amrabat is linked with Man United. Look, he's just not for me. He's not the type of player that I think Arsenal would want. Very similar to other forwards that Arsenal wouldn't want. They want a specific profile, and JD and Nwaneri are not the profile that we would want, I don't believe. But we'll wait and see. The things could change. We could end up keeping people that we don't expect to keep. I'm still unsure about Osimhen in our system. Not sure he's good enough on the ball. I know he's James's number one guy. I like him. I think he's absolutely fantastic. But I probably need to take off I'm amazed by him glasses and then work out, is he good enough to play for Arsenal? And that's probably where I'm making the mistake with Osimhen at the moment. Is I'm just amazed by him every time I watch him, but I don't know if he would fit the system. So I probably would have to sit down and look at it myself and see, okay, can he do this? Can he do that? I know James is very keen on him next summer, but we'll wait and see. Like I said this morning, next summer will be one big, massive signing. That'll be pretty much it. Napoli and Juve talking JD, Pulisic to AC Milan. Yeah, supposedly Pulisic is meant to be going to AC Milan. Juve are meant to be taking JD. We'll wait and see. Look, there's so much to happen in this window. It's crazy because we've only just started. It's mad. It's mad to think we've just started. But as I said, this was going to be a quick stream because obviously I don't do this on Wednesdays. Normally it was just because of the timber. So I will be back Friday with a proper Arsenal news, how I normally set it up. And yeah, so I'll see you on Friday if you can make it. But for now, guys, take care. Thank you ever so much for joining me. Thank you for getting in the chat. Speak to you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.